Hi there, my name's Toby and I build websites for people as part of Burble web design. And I just want to show you when clients contact me, they invariably have heard of WordPress as a content management system and they know that content management systems are a good way to go. And they generally haven't heard of Concrete5, which is undoubtedly my preferred method of building websites with interesting layouts and designs for clients. Now, there are reasons for choosing either method. WordPress is incredibly popular. It goes right back to the start of content management systems, and it is excellent for blogging, certainly for large scale blogs where you've got multiple users and you want to do things programmatically so that people don't put up bad looking content. It can be excellent. But what it has become is a system that people have used to try and create very smart designed websites. And they can vary and they can look absolutely fantastic on the front end, but to edit them in the back end can be an absolute nightmare. And whilst they're trying to catch up with various layout workarounds and so forth, it's built on the incorrect foundations. It's not what it was designed to do out the box. And in my opinion, it is definitely not the way to go for many clients. Concrete5 on the right is I find much more intuitive. It's much easier to build custom design into, porting themes into. Once you've done a full look and feel can be very easy, and I think it's much easier to grip. The key to this is that you can edit things where they lay, so you can edit this text here and so forth. You don't have to go through an admin interface. Anyway, I'm just going to go through a whistle stop. This is going to be far from extensive and it's going to be quick, I hope. But let's just log in to WordPress and see what happens. So we're going to log in. And here we go. We've got our landing screen. Now it tells us about our posts and our pages. That's the difference between blogging and putting pages. Is WordPress is solution to putting up static pages. I mean, they speak for themselves. Posts is everything that goes under blog. There is a difference, but we won't dwell on it. A significant one at that. Now you get your management menu down the side. And you have themes and posts and categories and all of this complicated thing. But let's actually just see what happens if I look at my website now. I'm going to visit site. Now I've got it here. They've implemented a bar at the top. And the idea is that I want to change, let's say I want to change some of this content down here. Okay, so we've got generic holding page content that I installed with the theme. Let's go edit page. Now we're instantly taken back into the editing interface. And this is what you see in this theme's case. Now, this theme may not be perfect. It's far from perfect, in fact. But the way that designers have had to deal with WordPress is by producing all sorts of shortcodes that allow them to do things under the bonnet and make things more simple for you. But the fact is that this is not an elegant way to be editing what we've just seen. Fine, I can see what's going on, but you're surrounded by lots of shortcode text and things, and this is the way with these various codes that they've implemented, putting in images, that's this here, and the text. Now one misstep when you come back and edit, or a colleague does, and the whole thing's gonna look a complete muddle. So yes, let's try and edit this here. So hello world, this is a fruit. Testing. It doesn't help that I mistyped it, but now what we'd do is we'd edit it and edit our text. Now you could paste it in. You can do all, the basics. You can bold it, italic, and you've got a what you see is what you get editor, which are generally fairly stable. But we can go update, and now we're going to have to click. So I generally do these in multiple tabs, but let's not today. We go view page and we come back and we go fine. And but we decide that the whole thing's on 3 lines now, which is a mess. So we're going to go back through. Anyway, you can see the editing method there for for how you are going to edit content if you want to update your homepage, for instance. But what you don't have a cat and a hell's chance of doing is, let us say you decided you wanted to insert a YouTube video here or an image here. Well, we can do it, and there will be shortcodes built in, and I'm not going to go into those because I just don't think there's even, it just makes any sense for anybody to be having to do that in a world where you just don't need to. So, but let's click add media. We're going to click an image. I don't know, let's choose this one. I don't know what size it is, but that's rather important. It's rather large here, so let's go insert into page. And so we then have our image, and we can center it. You know, that's easy enough, but it is floating around and we can't actually see what it looks like. So we're going to have to click update, and it's amongst the text. Now let's go view page. Fine, it's worked out okay. It's not great. I don't think you would ever actually want to do it, but if we want to go back and queue up multiple images next to each other, to be frank, it's not even worth trying. I can insert another image, but what we would normally do is create things called divs that wrap around them, and you'd get some sort of programmatic table. So these are the wrong size. Now I can drag it, but you know, it's going to be difficult. So what you would actually probably end up doing in this instance is in an image editor cutting these three together. Anyway, I mean, this is much a thing of the past. So if we view our page, that's, you know, yes, you're editing it, but it is not editing on the page. And some themes will be. There are some modern workarounds, but they sit on top of WordPress. They're not native within WordPress, and that's really the key difference. So if we go back to WordPress here to our dashboard, we get lots of plugins, and it gives you the illusion of having lots of stuff that you can access for free. So if you want to access free contact forms and so forth, you can do that, and you can get pretty much anything out there. But the flip side is that you don't know who's built it and how well it's made and its security. And so WordPress sites can very easily get hacked if you start installing lots of stuff. And I have bad experience with clients of doing that, or them doing that rather. And with the themes, now this is the main appeal of WordPress, is there are tens of thousands of themes out there built by people all over the world, and they're tens of dollars, not more, and they're incredible value. But what you get is you get something that looks beautiful in default content. You import it into here. Now, were I to activate this one engine theme, which I had looked at earlier, I can instantly change it on our website and install it. But actually, weirdly, it doesn't look anything like the demo, because obviously the content is very different and you don't get the demo content. So there's a lot of configuration to do, and one has to be very specific. But you also have to configure this whole setup very specifically, and that is all done. If I reactivate Fruitful, that is all done through submenus with theme options, and this is all built by the developer of that theme. So if you want a custom theme, this is going to have to be built, and in reality it's not practical, not for financial reasons, not for anything, because it's sort of building the wrong way. But what you can do is take a pre-existing theme and then repurpose it through this method, add in custom CSS and do various tweaks. But by the time you've got something off the shelf that is incredibly complicated, really you want it to be pretty close to the right thing, because by this time you start pushing and pulling code, you're going to end up with something very complicated. Now let's imagine that we wanted to add a blog post. We could just go posts, add new. I'm going to add, this is my blog post. Now I've got some Lipsum text over here, so let's just drop this in. This is just dummy text. Okay, and we're going to come back here, and there are loads of options as to types of posts this are. So this is their workaround for sort of making it look like it's got an image at the top and some text beneath, or a gallery or an image. This is just standard text. So we're going to go publish standard, and we're going to put it, I've only got one category, but we're going to put it in our generic posts category, and we're going to publish it. Now that is incredibly easy. and you can't really go wrong. And I can click here, I'm going to do this in a new tab and view this post, and there you go, it's done it. I mean, it could look so much better if the theme was designed differently, but you get the idea that it's put up your content, it's filed it, now you can have archives and all sorts. If you come back though, what we can do is we can then add a new post, and we can, let's imagine, I haven't done this with this theme, but let's imagine it's an image. Now we can add in some media, so let's stick in our image of the hills. Now it may actually be set under set featured image, so let's just choose our bike just in case, and we're going to put it as an image, and we're going to publish it in our generic category and publish it now, and I will view it here. Okay, it is what it is. It's not great, but what WordPress is designed for is this could look fantastic, but it's designed so you're in this interface, you stick in your text and various bits in content, you possibly add a featured image, and you do that repeatedly. That's great, and that's how it works. But starting messing around inserting codes, to insert a video here, we could add media via this. We could insert it from a URL, and we could probably insert a YouTube video without too much pain. What's going to then happen is it's going to be wrapped around your text, and you're going to have to work that one out. But that is how you would add a blog post, and that's not the end of the world. The file manager, how you get all your files onto the website, is very simple, very easy. It's drag and drop, and that really makes sense, and that's nicely done. Although filing images is a bit messy, and there are a few issues, but it's pretty decent. Now imagine then finally that we've got our page and we want to move something, our home and our blog. You know, if we've added a new page, imagine sample page we've just added, and this is our lips and text, and I decide I've added it, but I want it somewhere else. I would have to go and find appearance, menus, and I need to know what menu I'm working with, and in this case it's the primary menu. It would be fairly obvious on your site, and what we would do is we can drag and drop here our sample page and save it there. Now it depends on the settings here, but when you add a new page to your website, you will have to go and edit the menus manually in the background in this interface, which is all right, but it's a comparatively later implementation, and it's fine, but again, it's away from being obvious, and also it helps once you know what you're doing. So it's perfectly reasonable, but it's not ideal, I don't think. As for adding image sliders up here, for instance, you see these, that I can't do on the page at all. So the only way I could do that is go into appearance, theme options, and this isn't an ideal theme, but this is sort of the method we're choosing. Now they've done it fairly elegantly. We've got our slides here, so I'd go add new slide. I'd have to upload an image. I'd find my image somewhere. Let's stick in this, and can we move it? Yeah, we can in this case, but this is down to each developer, so it's not built into the CMS, into the management system. So we're going to click save, and then we refresh our front page. Yeah, we've done that, but it's the wrong size, and I didn't know that before, and that's boring, really. Anyway, so that's WordPress, and that's an overview quickly of that. Now, if you come over here and we try and do the same in Concrete5, I'm just going to log in. Now, again, I should stress that I didn't build either of these two, and Concrete5 is getting a better look on it from the default theme, because the team who made it have built this default theme, to which I have not done much apart from insert a video of a tiger by the looks of it. Right, so what we're going to do, what did we do first on this page? Well, we wanted to have a look at it, the content of the page and editing it. Now we get our editing bar. This is where we come through to, and depending on the privileges you're given on handover, we can strip out some of the functionality, not to limit things to your, for a negative purpose, just to make it so it's clear and simple and that you don't get confused by unnecessary functions and so forth. But the key is with this, when we go edit this page, because we've decided we want to change our text, what you see, it will disable some elements that are moving around to allow it to do this, which is to let you edit in place where you see it. So we're going to be editing welcome to Burble CMS. Now this is a feature, so this will be popping up. Now we're testing the site and we're going to save it. Now it depends how the website is built exactly as to what blocks. It's all based on blocks, and you can have images and you can have videos and so forth, and you can have plain text. In this case, this is a feature block. We've just edited it, but the nice thing is I can see exactly what I've done here, and I can see it immediately. And then what I can do, and this requires some dexterity with the mouse, but is you can push and pull content around. So we're going to, now this is where WordPress wants to be, but it's not, I don't think, unless you get the right theme again. So we can change our content, we can move content, we can add content, we can drop our video down here, and let's decide that we've actually want to add a whole new block of content here. What we've got, we're going to click add block, is a whole series of blocks of functionality. Now these can be stripped out, and we can also make custom ones, which we're going to cover here. But if we just wanted to insert an image, imagine like on WordPress, we just wanted to stick these images in our front page. We're going to stick in an image, and we're going to choose our image. Now let's imagine it's this sunset, and we could link it off to something and do various bits. We're going to constrain, we could constrain the image size, but let's just see what happens when we add it. And so our image has got in there. Now it's resized to the size of the container, which is part of the theme, and I'm perfectly happy with it. But imagine that I wanted to add some text beneath it. I then go add block, and I'm going to click content. Now this, a content block, literally allows me to edit content right on the page. So, oops, excuse me, let me take some of this, some garbage in Latin, just paste it in here. Let's put the top in bold, and this is all sort of similar to WordPress. You can see where they're going, but what I prefer is the fact that you are on the page and you're editing it. What you're not doing is you're not messing around in shortcodes. We don't have our featured section, wasn't all having to be wrapped in these funny little icons. We had blocks, shortcodes. Our blocks are separate and built for the purpose, so we can style each block. Now let's save our content here. Now that's actually not ideal because it's right up against our image. So there are a few things we could do. We could edit it and put in a backspace, which isn't ideal, or we can actually tweak it with this method here, and we can add in some margin. Now actually this is off the page just because of the video, but what we can do is generally your theme will be better designed. If we've designed the theme that you won't be needing to do this, but it is all in your hands if you need it to be. And so we can literally drag and drop content, we can add in blocks, we can add in images. So imagine we wanted to change the slider. Let me just get this in the right place. We wanted, excuse me, sorry. Oh, that's my computer, nothing to do with WordPress. We wanted to get this slider different. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up, and again, I can edit this block. And it allows me in this instance, and it depends on the sort of gallery, to add slides programmatically and change them around. So I could go add slide. Now actually the slides on this website are, the way that this theme is built is slightly different. We're not got full width images. So I'm going to choose an image here. I'm going to choose it from the pre-selected ones here. So I have no idea what this is. Probably going to be the wrong ratio. And we can add in the title of this. Hello. Right, and we could link it and all sorts of stuff, but we're going to save that. Now, as I say, it does disable some functions when you're directly editing the website, but you know that looks actually reasonable. But though you would get directions, and it depends. The slider can be set up, and I haven't followed the rules to adhere to design layouts and so forth. So what we're showing though overall is that I find editing in the page much easier. So what we can actually do is come and we can discard all of those edits because we don't want to do them. And we could do exactly the same on actually let's just say a team about page. What have they got set up here? So we've got now they're placeholders, but if we wanted to edit the page, this is what we put in it, and you could come in and go, you know, and you can put in new employees, new text, keep it up to date, and keeping something fresh on the page is important, as we can discuss elsewhere. But so that I find is very useful. Now, the one criticism or the one query is about blogging. Blogging is ostensibly just a list of posts. It's got this word and people seem to think it's a weblog, but it's essentially just adding a page and filing it somewhere. So if we go to a blog here, we've got something that is exactly the same as the WordPress blog, really. In reality, we've got something here. Now, ignore appearances. WordPress is getting, again, a problem here. And also these archives, we wouldn't have that. That's from uploading dummy content. But what one would have, if we go to the blog, is, sorry, this is more representative, is a blog role. This is a list of all your blog posts and your various filing methods down the right, and you can build these and you can get these layouts exactly as you wish. Concrete5 is equally capable of doing this, set up correctly, but the point is it doesn't have to be this way. So that's me testing my blog post. But we've seen how to add a post in WordPress, which was easy. Let's see how we do it in Concrete5. What we do, going to do, click new post, and we're going to click blog entry. Now, you can add in all the box manually, literally build something from a blank page up. But what we can also do is use this system called Composer, which forces you to fill out certain fields. It's not vastly dissimilar to the, if we go new post in WordPress, really. It's slightly less nifty in the way it goes, but it is actually can be 100% customized by the builder. So if we decide that you need to have a video on every page, we can build that in right in here. So when you load it up, you would add in a YouTube link or you would add in a video, and this can be entirely changed on the builder, the website. So it's in fact much easier to customize without having to go right into the code, and then also to stop messing around with additional formats and shortcodes within the system. So if we want to have a thumbnail and the content, the thumbnail can be a separate field, but we could then have 3 blocks of content here, one which is a quote, one which is an image, and they would all be separate fields on the page. So we're going to go another test post. Now we'll keep this quick. I'm just going to add it into sports, short description, optional, in this case, sorry, escape, but let's just get our gubbins in here again. Let's delete that. and we're going to choose a file. We're going to stick in sunset, and we're going to save it. Now, what you can do, you have drafts, you can save and exit. Drafts are things that you can have for later, so you can post later. And in fact, the one virtue of WordPress is you can post blogs on a time delay. You can do that in Concrete5, and you can set them to a public visibility time, and in fact it's a function they're improving. But so what you can do is have drafts that people can peer review. It's fine to do that, I generally find that actually, given the size of organizations, it's easier to do it offline. But and that's the same with writing content, but that's up to you. So what we can do is we're going to, in this case, we're just going to decide this is ready, we like the look of it, and we're going to publish it. And hopefully, there we go, it's stuck it straight into our website. Now we've got another blog post, exactly the same as had we on WordPress. It is identical in functionality, and it is text, you know. Now in this case, actually, the theme clearly didn't have the thumbnail set up, but that depends entirely on how it's configured. In fact, I imagine this is all part of the portfolio. Had I filed it under a portfolio, we'd see them all, but let's have a look at our blog. We've got another test post, and it goes here. Now, I press so, there we go. So, and you can have comments if you wish. It's entirely up to you. Finally, definitely finally, organizing the menu. Let's have a look. We've got our menu up here, it's automated. Now, we have a thing called the sitemap here, which is great. You may find that lots of these are stripped out and hidden, but the sitemap will be available, and that lets you know what is going on with your website menu, and it's just the arrangement. But this is a drag and drop interface, where we have over here a similar drag and drop interface for menus. This tells you actually where everything is, and so you can affect many menus at one time. So if we decide that actually we want to move services and we're going to move it down here, we can do that. We've also decided that the contact page should go beneath team. We can do that. It's asking me, I've dragged it onto team, what do I want to do? Well, in this case, I'm going to move it. And now this is done away from the front page necessarily. So I often find having two tabs open helps, but we can go back and we can look and refresh. Oh, and actually in this instance I haven't succeeded in changing the menu, so in the sitemap order, now there we go, for some reason it will be cached on my computer, but that didn't update instantly. Normally I'd expect it to, so let's see, but you see our effects have taken, our changes have taken effect immediately. There is a caching system which can be explained another time, but that was the reason behind that. Anyway, so those are the summaries of the functions and just the basic gist of where they're coming from. And that's why, apart from many other building and design features, I think Concrete5 is definitely worth considering, and to my mind a better way to deliver a modern website. Thanks.